everybody, welcome to my channel.
Al Pacino, the intensity and legacy of a Hollywood icon. Few names in cinema command as much reverence as Al Pacino. With a career spanning over 5 decades, Pacino has become synonymous with powerful performances, emotional depth, and an unrelenting commitment to his craft. From his early rise in the 1970s to his continued influence today, Pacino remains one of the most electrifying actors in film history. Early life and beginnings. Alfredo James Pacino was born on April 25, 1940, in East Harlem, New York City, to Italian-American parents. Raised primarily by his mother and grandparents in the Bronx after his parents separated, Pacino grew up surrounded by working-class realities that would later inform his intense, grounded portrayals on screen. As a young man, Pacino discovered acting through school plays and later trained at the Actors Studio, studying under legendary mentor Lee Strasberg. The method acting philosophy he learned there became central to his approach, living and breathing each role with raw authenticity. Breakthrough and stardom. Pacino's career took off in the early 1970s. After stage work and a few minor film appearances, his breakthrough came with The Panic in Needle Park, 1971, where he portrayed a heroin addict in New York. The performance caught the attention of director Francis Ford Coppola, who cast him as Michael Corleone in The Godfather, 1972, a role that would forever change his life. Initially met with studio skepticism, Pacino's portrayal of Michael's transformation from reluctant son to ruthless mafia leader became one of the most iconic performances in film history. His work in The Godfather Part II, 1974, cemented him as one of Hollywood's most formidable talents. The 1970s, a decade of dominance. The 1970s were Pacino's golden era. He delivered one unforgettable performance after another, each uniquely intense and psychologically layered. In Serpico, 1973, he played a real-life cop who exposes corruption within the NYPD. Then came Dog Day Afternoon, 1975, where his portrayal of a desperate bank robber earned widespread critical acclaim. These films showcased Pacino's ability to humanize flawed, morally complex characters. His expressive eyes, commanding voice, and volatile energy made every performance unforgettable. Later career and evolution. Though Pacino faced a quieter period in the 1980s, he returned to prominence with Scarface, 1983, directed by Brian De Palma. His portrayal of Tony Montana, the Cuban immigrant who rises to power through violence and ambition, became a cultural phenomenon, an enduring symbol of excess, greed, and power. In the 1990s, Pacino reaffirmed his legacy with standout roles in films like Scent of a Woman, 1992, for which he finally won an Academy Award for Best Actor, and Heat, 1995, where he shared the screen with Robert De Niro in one of cinema's most legendary matchups. He continued to shine in films such as Donnie Brasco, 1997, The Insider, 1999, and Any Given Sunday, 1999, proving that his charisma and emotional intensity had not dimmed with time. Stage, television, and continued impact beyond film, Pacino has remained deeply connected to the theater, appearing in numerous stage productions of Shakespeare and modern classics. In recent years, he has also embraced television, notably portraying Roy Cohn in HBO's Angels in America, 2003, and starring in Amazon's Hunters, 2020. Even in his later years, Pacino's passion for performance remains palpable. His distinctive voice, fiery delivery, and unwavering authenticity continue to inspire generations of actors. Legacy of a legend. Al Pacino's influence on modern acting is immeasurable. His characters, complex, conflicted, and often tragic, reflect the very essence of human struggle. Whether as Michael Corleone's chilling restraint or Tony Montana's explosive ambition, Pacino has mastered the art of transformation. He is not just an actor, he is a force of nature, a living embodiment of cinematic artistry. In every whisper, shout, or silent gaze, Al Pacino reminds audiences why he stands among the greatest performers of all time. Personal life and philosophy. On acting. Behind the intensity and fame, Al Pacino remains a deeply private and introspective figure. Despite being one of Hollywood's most celebrated actors, he has always maintained a distance from celebrity culture, preferring to let his work speak for itself. He never married but has had several long-term relationships and is the father of 3 children. Pacino's philosophy toward acting has always been rooted in truth and emotional honesty. A lifelong student of the craft, he has often said that acting is a search for truth through imagination. Influenced by the teachings of Lee Strasberg and the method acting tradition, Pacino immerses himself completely into his characters. He once remarked, "The camera can film my face, but until it captures my soul, you don't have the movie." This deep commitment to emotional authenticity is what sets Pacino apart. Whether portraying a mob boss, a cop, or a tormented soul, he always finds the human core, the vulnerability beneath the power. The later years, reinvention and reflection. Even as he entered his 70s and 80s, Pacino continued to challenge himself with new and diverse roles. In The Irishman 2019, directed by Martin Scorsese, he played Jimmy Hoffa, bringing humor and humanity to a notorious figure from American history. The film, which reunited him with Robert De Niro, was hailed as a late-career masterpiece and proved that Pacino's fire had not dimmed. He also appeared in Once Upon a Time in Hollywood 2019, directed by Quentin Tarantino, and took on television roles such as Meyer Offerman in Amazon's Hunters 2020-2023, where he portrayed a Holocaust survivor leading a secret group of Nazi hunters in 1970s America. These performances showed that Pacino could still bring intensity, charm, and intelligence to every role, regardless of genre or medium. In interviews, Pacino has expressed gratitude for his long career and a sense of humility about fame. "I'm just an actor," he once said, "trying to find out what makes people tick. The rest is noise." Awards, honors, and recognition. Pacino's list of honors is as legendary as his filmography. He has received an Academy Award, 2 Tony Awards, 2 Primetime Emmy Awards, and multiple Golden Globes. He is one of the few performers to achieve the Triple Crown of acting, winning the Oscar, Emmy, and Tony. In 2007, he received the AFI Lifetime Achievement Award, recognizing his extraordinary contributions to the art of film. Despite his accolades, Pacino remains modest about his achievements, often saying that the real reward is the work itself, the chance to keep creating, discovering, and performing. Influence on modern cinema. Al Pacino's influence extends far beyond his own performances. He helped define the gritty realism of 1970s American cinema and inspired countless actors, from Leonardo DiCaprio to Christian Bale, to pursue depth and authenticity in their work. His style, marked by emotional volatility, controlled power, and a sense of internal conflict, has become a model for generations of performers. He also helped elevate film acting to a form of art that rivals literature and theater in psychological complexity. His collaborations with directors like Francis Ford Coppola, Sidney Lumet, Brian De Palma, and Martin Scorsese have produced some of cinema's most enduring works. The timeless appeal of Al Pacino. What makes Al Pacino truly timeless is his ability to evolve without losing his essence. Whether he's whispering in cold calculation or erupting in volcanic rage, there's always a spark of humanity that draws audiences in. His performances are not mere imitations, they are living, breathing portraits of the human soul. As Pacino himself once said, "You're only as good as the moments you create, and the moments are all that matter." In those moments, on stage or on screen, Al Pacino continues to remind the world why he is not just a movie star, but a true artist whose work will endure for generations to come. Iconic roles that defined a generation. Few actors can claim a filmography as rich and transformative as Al Pacino's. His performances not only shaped the course of cinema but also reflected the evolution of the American antihero, flawed, charismatic, and unforgettable. Each of his legendary roles carried a distinct energy, yet all shared the unmistakable intensity that became Pacino's signature. Michael Corleone, The Godfather Trilogy, 1972 to 1990. Pacino's portrayal of Michael Corleone remains one of the greatest character arcs in film history. In The Godfather, 1972, Michael begins as the moral outsider of the Corleone crime family, quiet, disciplined, and determined to lead a different life. By The Godfather Part 2, 1974, he transforms into a cold, calculating leader, consumed by power and paranoia. Pacino's subtle evolution of Michael, his controlled expressions, chilling silences, and flashes of emotional vulnerability, created a performance that critics often describe as Shakespearean in scope. The Godfather Part 3, 1990, saw Michael as a broken man seeking redemption, completing one of cinema's most tragic journeys. Tony Montana, Scarface, 1983. If Michael Corleone was restraint personified, Tony Montana was excess incarnate. In Scarface, directed by Brian De Palma and written by Oliver Stone, Pacino crafted a performance that burned with fury and charisma. As the Cuban immigrant who claws his way from poverty to power, Tony Montana became a pop culture icon. His explosive line, "Say hello to my little friend," remains one of the most quoted moments in film history. Though criticized upon release for its violence and vulgarity, Scarface has since been re-evaluated as a raw, cautionary tale about ambition, greed, and the cost of the American dream. Pacino's fearless portrayal gave the character mythic status, influencing everything from hip-hop culture to fashion. Frank Serpico, 1973, in Sidney Lumet's Serpico, Pacino took on the true story of NYPD officer Frank Serpico, who risked his life to expose corruption within the police department. It was one of Pacino's earliest and most impassioned performances, deeply emotional, morally driven, and filled with quiet rebellion. His portrayal of Serpico earned him widespread acclaim and an Academy Award nomination, proving that he could anchor a film not through violence or crime but through integrity and inner conflict. Sonny Wartzik, Dog Day Afternoon, 1975, also directed by Sidney Lumet, Dog Day Afternoon showcased Pacino at his most vulnerable and human. Playing Sonny Wartzik, a desperate man who attempts to rob a bank to pay for his partner's surgery, Pacino balanced tension, empathy, and spontaneous humor in equal measure. The performance was improvisational and raw. His outcry of "Attica, Attica" became a defining moment of 1970s cinema. Pacino's ability to turn a chaotic criminal act into a deeply human tragedy demonstrated his extraordinary emotional range. Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, Heat, 1995. In Michael Mann's Heat, Pacino played Lieutenant Vincent Hanna, a relentless Los Angeles detective in pursuit of master thief Neil McCauley, Robert De Niro. Their on-screen showdown, especially their famous cafe scene, was a landmark in film history, marking the first true face-to-face meeting of two acting titans. Pacino's portrayal of Hannah was fierce and erratic, yet profoundly human, a man driven by obsession but aware of his loneliness. His chemistry with De Niro created one of the most compelling dynamics ever captured on screen. Colonel Frank Slade, Scent of a Woman, 1992, for this role. Pacino finally earned his long-overdue Academy Award for Best Actor. As the blind, retired Army officer Frank Slade, Pacino delivered a nuanced performance that balanced arrogance, vulnerability, and grace. The film's emotional climax, Slade's fiery speech defending a young student at a disciplinary hearing, has become one of the most memorable monologues in movie history. With the line, "Hoo-ah," Pacino added another signature moment to his legendary career. A living legend. What makes Al Pacino truly extraordinary is his refusal to stagnate. He continues to explore new roles, genres, and mediums well into his 80s. From mob dramas to Shakespearean theater, from intimate indies to streaming-era thrillers, Pacino's dedication to storytelling remains unwavering. In an industry that often celebrates surface over substance, Al Pacino represents authenticity, the living proof that great acting is not about fame or fortune, but truth. His performances are studies in humanity, flawed, passionate, searching, and profoundly real. Conclusion: the eternal flame of Al Pacino. Al Pacino's name has become shorthand for greatness in acting. His voice, gravelly yet musical, his gestures, sudden and precise, and his gaze, both piercing and introspective, are part of cinematic language itself. For more than half a century, he has transformed every role into a window into the human soul. From the cold brilliance of Michael Corleone to the fiery madness of Tony Montana, Pacino has embodied both the angel and the demon within us all. As he once said, the actor becomes the instrument through which life reveals itself. And through Al Pacino, life, messy, tragic, beautiful, and real, has revealed itself like never before. Filmography highlights and awards. Throughout his long and distinguished career, Al Pacino has built a body of work that stands among the greatest in cinematic history. His filmography reads like a timeline of modern American film, each role contributing to the legend of an actor who refuses to compromise on truth, intensity, and artistry. Major filmography highlights: 1970s, The Rise of a Generation's Voice, The Panic in Needle Park, 1971, Pacino's first major role, a raw portrait of addiction and survival in New York City. The Godfather, 1972, introduced the world to Michael Corleone, setting a new standard for subtle, psychological acting. Serpico, 1973, a riveting depiction of integrity and moral courage in the face of systemic corruption. The Godfather Part II, 1974, a masterclass in power, guilt, and isolation. Often cited as one of the greatest performances in film history. Dog Day Afternoon, 1975, a humanistic and heartbreaking portrayal of desperation and defiance. And Justice for All, 1979, as an idealistic lawyer in a corrupt system, Pacino again delivered a performance full of fury and moral passion. 1980s, The Age of Transformation. Cruising, 1980, a bold and controversial film exploring identity and morality within New York's gay subculture. Scarface, 1983, as Tony Montana, Pacino turned a violent gangster tale into an operatic character study of ambition and excess. Sea of Love, 1989, a return to form after a brief hiatus. showcasing Pacino's magnetic presence in a neo-noir thriller. 1990s, The Era of Mastery, The Godfather Part 3, 1990, an aging Michael Corleone seeks redemption. Closing one of cinema's greatest trilogies. Scent of a Woman, 1992, earned Pacino his first Oscar. His fiery portrayal of Frank Slade remains a defining moment in his career. Carlito's Way, 1993, reunited with Scarface director Brian De Palma, Pacino gave a soulful, tragic performance as a reformed criminal. Heat, 1995, his cat and mouse dynamic with Robert De Niro made this crime epic an instant classic. Donnie Brasco, 1997, as an aging mobster befriending an undercover FBI agent. Pacino delivered one of his most subtle and poignant performances. The Devil's Advocate, 1997, his flamboyant turn as Satan himself proved Pacino's talent for theatrical, larger-than-life characters. The Insider, 1999, a powerful portrayal of a journalist fighting corporate corruption, reaffirming Pacino's reputation for moral intensity. Any Given Sunday, 1999, as a grizzled football coach, he gave one of the most inspiring locker room speeches ever filmed. 2000s, The Veteran Artist Insomnia, 2002, a haunting psychological thriller where Pacino plays a detective battling guilt and sleeplessness. Angels in America, 2003. HBO, his Emmy-winning portrayal of Roy Cohn showcased his mastery of both film and television. The Merchant of Venice, 2004, Pacino brought Shakespeare's Shylock to life with remarkable empathy and gravity. Ocean's 13, 2007, joined the star-studded cast as a corrupt casino owner, adding flair and menace in equal measure. You Don't Know Jack, 2010, HBO, as Dr. Jack Kevorkian, Pacino won another Emmy, portraying the controversial right to die advocate with compassion and complexity. 2010s to present, the enduring legend Phil Spector, 2013, HBO, yet another complex real-life figure, earning him critical acclaim. Danny Collins, 2015, a touching turn as an aging rock star rediscovering his humanity. The Irishman, 2019, as Jimmy Hoffa, Pacino delivered a late-career triumph under Scorsese's direction. Once Upon a Time in Hollywood, 2019, worked with Quentin Tarantino for the first time, adding his distinctive energy to the film's nostalgic tone. House of Gucci, 2021, played Aldo Gucci with charisma and humor, reminding audiences of his enduring charm. Hunters, 2020-2023, on television once again, Pacino captivated viewers as Meyer Offerman, a Holocaust survivor leading Nazi hunters. Awards and Achievements: Academy Award, 1 win, Best Actor. Scent of a Woman, 1993, 8 nominations total. Golden Globe Awards, 4 wins, including Scent of a Woman, Angels in America, and You Don't Know Jack. Tony Awards, 2 wins for his stage performances in Does a Tiger Wear a Necktie? 1969, and The Basic Training of Pavlo Hummel, 1977, Primetime Emmy Awards, 2 wins, Angels in America. You Don't Know Jack, AFI Lifetime Achievement Award, 2007 Kennedy Center Honors, 2016. Pacino is also one of the few artists to hold the triple crown of acting, Oscar, Emmy, and Tony, an honor shared by only a handful of the most accomplished performers in history. Al Pacino's enduring impact. Pacino's influence transcends generations. Younger actors often cite him as a guiding light, an artist who embodies commitment, fearlessness, and truth. His performances have inspired filmmakers, writers, and audiences alike to embrace complexity, imperfection, and humanity in storytelling. Unlike many stars, Pacino never chased trends or superficial fame. Instead, he pursued meaning, often choosing roles that explored the darker corners of the human psyche. In doing so, he redefined what it means to be a leading man in Hollywood, not polished or perfect but real, flawed, and alive. The man behind the legend off-screen, Pacino remains humble, philosophical, and driven by curiosity. He often speaks about his continued fascination with acting and how it connects him to life itself. "Every role teaches me something," he said. "You learn about people, about pain, about love, and that's the gift of acting." Now in his 80s, Pacino shows no signs of retiring. He continues to explore new projects, teach younger actors, and occasionally return to the stage, the place where it all began. A legacy etched in light in the grand story of cinema, Al Pacino stands as one of its eternal flames, a performer who gave everything to every role, who never stopped searching for truth, and who, in doing so, changed the art of acting forever. His characters are not just remembered, they live on, breathing through the screens that captured them. Whether whispering with quiet menace or roaring with passion, Al Pacino has shown that true greatness in acting lies not in imitation, but revelation. He is not just a legend. He is a living testament to the power of art, emotion, and human truth. The legacy of Al Pacino, a study in art, truth, and transformation as one of the most revered figures in the history of film. Al Pacino's legacy extends far beyond his unforgettable characters. He stands as a symbol of artistic integrity, an actor who has remained fiercely devoted to his craft for over half a century. His influence has reshaped how audiences and fellow performers alike understand what it means to act, to feel, and to truly inhabit a role. Redefining the modern actor. Before Pacino, leading men in Hollywood often embodied a polished ideal, handsome, heroic, and emotionally restrained. Pacino helped change that paradigm. His performances brought grit, realism, and vulnerability to the screen, ushering in a new era of authenticity during the 1970s. Alongside contemporaries like Robert De Niro, Dustin Hoffman, and Jack Nicholson, Pacino made it acceptable, even desirable, for actors to be unconventional. His characters were often morally ambiguous, flawed, and deeply human, reflecting the complexities of real life. In an age obsessed with surface, Pacino reminded the world that true power lies in depth. He showed that the smallest gestures, a pause, a whisper, a flicker in the eyes, could convey more emotion than a grand speech. His ability to express silent pain or explosive rage with equal mastery made him an actor's actor, studied by generations of performers. A bridge between stage and screen. Pacino's love for theater has been a constant thread throughout his career. While many movie stars distance themselves from the stage, he has always returned to it, describing it as the actor's laboratory. His performances in Shakespeare's Richard III, The Merchant of Venice, and Othello reveal his deep respect for classical drama and language. In fact, his documentary Looking for Richard, 1996, remains one of the finest explorations of Shakespeare's relevance in modern times. Pacino often speaks of theater as a place of discovery, a space where actors can fail, learn, and connect directly with the audience. This dedication to live performance keeps his artistry grounded. Even after decades of cinematic fame, a master of emotion and stillness, perhaps Pacino's greatest gift is his ability to balance intensity with introspection. He can fill a room with roaring energy one moment and then hold it captive with absolute stillness the next. Few actors have such control over both volume and silence. In roles like Michael Corleone or Frank Slade, his most devastating moments are often the quiet ones, the long stare, the slow exhale, the subtle shift in tone. Pacino understands that the soul speaks not only in words but in the spaces between them. His famous outbursts are equally artful, though often misunderstood. They are never random explosions. They are eruptions of deeply buried emotion, built from character truth. This volcanic power, paired with his delicate restraint, makes his performances unforgettable. An actor guided by instinct. Pacino is known for being deeply instinctive, often improvising or reshaping dialogue to find emotional truth. Directors and co-stars frequently describe him as unpredictable, in the best way. His process is rooted in spontaneity. He listens, reacts, and lets the moment dictate his choices. As he once explained, "When I'm acting, I'm not thinking. I'm listening. I'm breathing. If I'm thinking, I'm not alive in the scene." This organic approach is what gives his performances their pulse, the feeling that anything could happen. Watching Pacino is watching life unfold in real time. The cultural resonance of his characters, from the cold cunning of Michael Corleone to the unhinged charisma of Tony Montana. Pacino's characters have transcended the screen to become cultural icons. Their quotes, mannerisms, and moral struggles have entered the global lexicon. Lines like, "I'm gonna make him an offer he can't refuse," and "say hello to my little friend," are instantly recognizable even to those who have never seen the films. Yet beyond the pop culture, these roles endure because they reveal something timeless about power, corruption, ambition, and loss. Pacino's characters often exist at moral crossroads. They are men haunted by their choices, torn between light and darkness. In their triumphs and failures, audiences find reflections of themselves. The man, not the myth. Despite decades of adoration, Pacino has remained remarkably humble. Colleagues often describe him as gentle, curious, and endlessly dedicated. He is not driven by fame or wealth but by passion for storytelling. He continues to mentor young actors, sharing insights from his own lifelong pursuit of artistic truth. He approaches every role, no matter how small, with the same respect he gave Michael Corleone or Frank Slade. In interviews, Pacino often expresses gratitude rather than pride. "I've been lucky. I've had the chance to live so many lives through my work. That's all an actor can really ask for." Enduring influence on film and art. Al Pacino's impact is seen everywhere, from acting schools to film theory textbooks. He inspired the raw emotional realism that defines modern cinema. His influence can be traced through actors like Christian Bale, Joaquin Phoenix, Leonardo DiCaprio, and countless others who cite him as a defining inspiration. Directors continue to revere him for his deep understanding of narrative and emotion. Martin Scorsese once called him a master of transformation, while Francis Ford Coppola described him as an artist who lives inside the soul of every character he plays. Legacy and immortality. As of today, Al Pacino's journey is far from over. Even in his later years, he remains active, passionate, and creatively restless, proof that great art knows no age. His name is etched not just in film history, but in the collective consciousness of audiences around the world. His performances continue to be studied, quoted, and celebrated by those who recognize that what he created was more than entertainment, it was truth. In a world where fame often fades quickly, Pacino's light endures. His work reminds us that art lives forever when it comes from the soul. Final reflection. Al Pacino is more than a movie star, he is an institution of artistry. His career is a living testament to passion, perseverance, and the endless search for truth in performance. Whether in a whisper or a shout, his presence commands not just attention but reverence. He once said, "I don't act to be remembered. I act to feel alive. And through that devotion, to feeling, to truth, to the art itself, Al Pacino has become immortal. His face, his voice, and his spirit will continue to echo through time, reminding us that cinema, at its best, is not just a reflection of life, it is life. Al Pacino and his influence on popular culture. Al Pacino's reach extends far beyond cinema. His characters, voice, and mannerisms have become woven into the fabric of global popular culture, celebrated, imitated, and quoted across decades, genres, and generations. Few actors have achieved such universal resonance. Pacino is not merely an artist admired by critics. He is a cultural archetype, representing power, intensity, rebellion, and raw emotion. The power of the voice. Pacino's voice is one of the most recognizable in film history, gravelly, measured, and capable of transforming from a whisper to a thunderclap in an instant. His speech patterns, cadences, and unique phrasing have inspired countless parodies and tributes in television, music, and comedy. From Saturday Night Live sketches to film homages, his distinctive tone has become shorthand for authority and emotion. It's a voice that commands attention, calm and hypnotic in The Godfather, fiery and uncontainable in Scent of a Woman, and gloriously theatrical in The Devil's Advocate.
Bye bye. Thanks for watching. Bye.